Y'all have often heard me talk about double standards in this country and how people in other communities or certain groups like to pile on to us or claim identification with us. And I've heard story after story, and you guys have heard story after story about people within a particular group of or a certain community that do questionable things, but for some reason the media ignores it. I came across this the other day. Larry Brinken arrested San Francisco gay rights icon accused of child pornography possession. Now, let me say this. There are people who get arrested for things they didn't do, and there are people who get arrested for things they did do. Or sometimes people don't get arrested at all. Now, I don't know this gentleman. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I'm going to read something to you. Then I'm going to make a comparison. Or a bunch of comparisons. And I want you to think back and tell me if I'm right or wrong, okay? Police say they arrested 66-year-old Larry Brinken, a high-profile gay activist on possession of child pornography Friday night. Brinken, a community icon who led the fight for the city to recognize same-sex partnerships, was arrested and booked into San Francisco County Jail, police said. He posted bail and was released on Saturday, according to the jail spokesman. Police spokesman Officer Abby Esparza will only say that the case is still under investigation and will give no more details at this time. Brinken retired from the Human Rights Commission in 2010 and has been a beloved member of the gay community with the board of supervisors, even declaring the first week of February as Larry Brinken Week. We put the call to Teresa Sparks, executive director of the Human Rights Commission, and told us this allegation is beyond hard to believe. It's almost incredulous. There's no way I can believe such a thing, Sparks told us. He's always been one of my heroes. He's the epitome of human rights activists. This is a man who coined phrases used in our daily language. I support Larry 100%. Hopefully it will all come out in the investigation. Now, as I said before, I don't know if this person did this because sometimes people do get accused of things that they didn't do. People have ulterior motives. And that's what I'm about to bring up. And the other day I did a video talking about mentioning Michael Jackson and the lack of coverage of Sandusky. Even though he had way more victims, people were coming out the woodworks testify him, and they had witnesses, you know what I mean? But it didn't stop the media from spreading lies for 20 years of Michael Jackson's life. It didn't stop them from the day he died, them making fun of him, talking about his appearance, his skin, everything. And then when the black community said, we're going to come out and pay our respects to brother, everybody in the media got pissed off, like, how dare y'all pay respects? Now, when Michael was accused of child molestation, pedophilia, however you want to call it, people was making the allegation or assumption because we didn't see Mike with a bunch of women, or Mike didn't come across as rugged as some guys as they thought he should have, that he was gay. Now, there's been people that have come out and said, Mike wasn't gay. Mike been with women. And some people don't kiss and tell. And maybe Mike didn't have a bunch of women. Mike wasn't raised in that type of environment, okay? But they were trying to make this logical step that if he's gay, that means he's a pedophile, right? He's a molester. He likes little boys, right? Right? Now, how many cases have we heard of white men in the church, the Catholic Church, or white men or white celebrities or white people just messing with children? Usually when you mess with children, you hear about pedophilia. It's the same sex, right? Catholic Church, all them little altar boys. What happened? You can't get married. What happened? We are sexual creatures. It is not normal for us not to go without sex or masturbation. Now, some people are going to say, where are you going with this? Well, I'm going to let you know where I'm going with this. Remember when they said gay is the new black? And I told you guys that we should be a little bit weary when people say those type of things. Well, okay, since gay is the new black, that means I can talk about it all, right? And might give my opinion on it. First of all, I don't have any issue with gay men and women. The only issue I have with them when they do these comparisons or when they pretend like they have no racial bias. They do, okay? Those are my issues with the gay community. But my thing is, you cannot deny that Then when you hear about pedophilia, it's usually the same sex. It's usually people are gay. Well, they're repressing their sexuality. And I know I'm gonna get some bunch of hateful comments, but it is what it is. Most pedophilias usually mess with a person of the same sex. Notice when a white woman is accused of messing around, they say statutory rape. They never call it pedophilia. So you have to watch the terms. You have to watch the reaction. Even if this guy didn't do what he did, that should have been in the news because he's out there fighting for gay rights, speaking up. I mean, think about it. You know, they don't make, now see how they try to separate that? I mean, just think about it. Look all the gay people we've heard over the years. Wasn't it a group called, this guy was gay, that was basically saying it was okay to love boys, little boys at that? Notice how that didn't get talked about in the media a lot? Say what you want to say about Fox News. They did bring that up. But see, you goes back, you turn right now. I was watching, was it AGN TV, Home and Garden, I guess it's Home and Garden Network, something like that. If you watch some of the shows, who do you see? If you see some of these shows like Glee and these talent shows, what do you see? Gay men and women, right? They do and say the most outrageous things, and then people say, you can't say nothing to them because you might be homophobic. I'm not homophobic. I'm just stating something that I've noticed. That a lot of times you hear about cases of pedophilia is usually person of the same sex. Notice these men never try to go mess with little girls. I mean, you might, and I'm not saying they should. I don't want anybody to misunderstand what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that when a person messes around, have sex with children, it's usually of the same sex. We hear about stories all the time where you have teachers messing around with their students. I remember in high school, rumors going around with teachers messing with students. We can never truly prove it, but you got a bad vibe from it. Why is it that when Michael Jackson or any black man or woman is accused of messing with an underage person and they the same sex is talked about, and they tried to connect it to somehow being gay, but when a white person does it, they try to separate that. They just say, oh, they're just a sick individual. It's funny how there's always different standards when it comes down to white folk. This is why I say certain stories should be in the media. That's why I'm going to do my best to try to come up with some of the website, start thinking about producing my own website, tube-like site or something like that, and putting articles and putting videos up and letting people talk about things that normally not talked about in polite society. Because I'm watching this, how people made this correlation with Michael Jackson being gay and then equals pedophilia. But when whites get accused of if whites are gay, nobody ever called them potential pedophiles. I mean, some people have tried it, but usually they knock it down real quick. When a black person is accused of that, they never let it rest. Sandusky's in jail, right? They say he's on the suicide watch. Okay, if he did it, then he got to pay. If he didn't do it, you got fucked. But I'm more inclined to think that he did it. Because there's too many people, there's too many moving parts. But the media made sure they kept their distance. Because guess what? These lobbyist groups don't want you talking about it too much. Because if you go back and look at the majority of people who engage in pedophilia or underage relationships are usually white people. I'm not saying blacks don't do it, but usually the higher number. So you need to ask yourself, why is it that when the blacks look like they've done something inappropriate, it's talked about ad nauseum? Last week, Chris Brown, or the week before last, Chris Brown and Drake got into a fight at a club. People talked about it nonstop. Videos were made about it nonstop. This guy's a politician. This guy is 66 years old. Why don't they talk about it? Whether he did it or not, it should be spoken about. Last night I was watching the news, and they was talking about these people in Indiana was going to sell their home. They wanted to sell their home. And the real estate, anybody familiar with selling homes or buying homes, now they got it where you got a padlock type thing. You call whatever real estate office you're going through, and they give you a combination. You go in there, you let them know when you're showing the home that you yada 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 blah blah blah. What happened was this homeowners, they had cameras, motion sensors on. Guy walked right in to the home looking for drugs. You know what they did last night? They blurred his face. They said, well, we won't show his face because he hasn't been charged or because it's still an investigation. But our people's faces are plastered all over for the world to see. Even if they never had their day in court. And even if, and then, Lord forbid, they did something wrong, was accused of something doing before. They said, well, he has a previous record. Like, that's somehow supposed to give you a pass to say whatever the fuck you want to say and do. So ask yourself, why is it that when white men and women get caught with being pedophiles, or especially if they're the same sex, why do the media go silent on it? But yeah, every time you turn around, when they show an image of a gay person, they always got a black person right next to them. That's called image control. That's called what do they call? I can't think of the word. Subliminal imagery. I keep trying to tell y'all, like, and some of y'all don't want to listen to it, fine. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about is true, but y'all been conditioned to be, well, I ain't gonna say nothing. I don't want to offend nobody. Well, why do we so worry about offending people? People don't care about us. Here's yesterday, Michael Jackson been dead 3 years, and the media barely talked about it. But every fucking year, they go crazy on Elvis' birthday. Movies, all kinds of shit. We allow people outside of the community to tell us how we should honor and respect this man. You got people still making jokes about him being gay and being a pedophile. But when you got people out there who are politicians, who have done questionable things, actors and celebrities, teachers, nobody talks about it anymore. Now, I'm not trying to say that somehow being gay makes you a pedophile, but let's be honest. You see a large number of pedophiles usually go after the person of the same sex, male or female. And why is that when women do it, they're called statutory rape? They're not called pedophilia. It's a double standard in this society, and we need to be willing to call it all out. Vote up, vote down, leave your comments.